Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout. Back from the break. We're talking today. Welcome back to the Power Move. Talking today, and again, I'm going to remind you again for part two as we go into this. Whatever you're listening to us on, man, Spotify, Apple, whatever podcast app you use, give us that little like a little review. It'd be awesome. I'd appreciate it. Every little bit helps out. But again, we're talking about Atomic Habits, the book by James Clear. If you don't like where your life is, you don't like how things are going, man, might be time to start taking a look at your habits. And hopefully some of these tips today that we're going to give you will help you analyze some of the stuff you're doing and get it better. So moving right in, now we kind of analyzed figuring out what's wrong with ourselves and what we're doing that might be damaging ourselves.
I am kind of mad that this is Olympic week.
Yeah.
And we're just going to gloss over that.
I already said, you could have just gone and done something for China. We talked about it already.
I could, but Winter Olympics is way harder than
No, you think so?
100%.
Oh, I think you would have been fine in the what is it, did you see that?
The luge? Why couldn't he be in the luge?
You know,
we strap him to it and send it down.
I almost went to
a bobsled competition.
Dude, those guys are like 6'4", 240. Yeah. They're middle linebackers.
Yeah, they are.
And they run 4.3 flats.
Yeah,
like those are fast.
What about when you're one of the guys that just gets in?
No, and the skeleton. We're strapping to that thing.
I almost went to a tryout for that. My brother was on U.S. ski team.
Yeah,
and
we're onto something.
I'm more and more convinced that Colt may be onto something here. Because the bobsled does all the work.
Yeah, but you got to be fast and big.
I'm kidding.
Those guys will fight you. I'm pretty sure I can beat up every equestrian out there. Bobsledders, you ain't fighting. Anyways, I was looking at, it's on NBC. The peacock not the greatest male version of a species? Chris?
Like not bad.
Right?
Not bad.
Name a better
male version of the species.
Male's better than women.
Well, first off, a male lion does nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, they're the worst.
But have sex and come steal the food of the women that got caught.
Yeah. Best male version of a species.
I think a male lion's got it pretty easy.
No,
he's saying
beautiful.
He's saying just rocking a little. He's saying just
better than
what about the mating habits of the blue-tailed grouse? Colt, have you ever looked into the blue-tailed grouse?
Well, that was number 6.
That mating dance.
That was number 6.
You think I'm kidding?
That was number 6.
Look at the blue-tailed grouse mating dance.
Okay. All right. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. We're talking about habits. That's right.
Peacocks.
Colt has. Yeah. Shocking.
In case you were wondering if I didn't know what my favorite mating dance of
it was the grouse.
I have to look that up now.
Number 3. People that want to break a bad habit may wish to use a commitment device, which is a preventative measure that limits future actions. Now, we have done this before when we did the Fit Club, which we never did do that dinner. We should, but it worked. Where essentially, we talk about all the time that you will run faster away from pain than you will towards pleasure. So 100%. If you want to do something to monitor yourself, accountability is huge in developing new habits. I mean, get an accountability partner, find somebody else that wants to accomplish the same things you do. Get together and say, look, every time that I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to give you $10 or whatever it is. Have a negative consequence for not doing what you want to do. I think that's perfectly acceptable.
I think that I was a pretty good accountability buddy. Because
you were?
I had to put $0 in that kitty.
You did. We worked out in Egypt. That was strong.
We worked out in Egypt.
In Egypt.
I didn't join.
Yeah, but do that whole process through everybody. There was, guys like Gorton, whatever, put my money in the kid. Whatever.
That's all good.
I'm not working out there. I'm like, why wouldn't you get up and walk for 15 minutes and just go count
just to not have to?
Because I don't want the W. I don't want the L. I want the W.
Well, I think the biggest one right now, and if you haven't done this, I think this is a good idea, is every single app phone, I don't know, Android maybe, I'm not sure, but every single phone has screen time limitations where you can set limitations on how long you can be on certain apps. I know on my kids' phones, they're all limited. I'm just not going to do the 12 hours staring at the screen thing. I mean, especially if you have kids, they have phones, do that. Do that for them today. Set up some parental controls, limit how long they can stare at YouTube, limit some of these things for them. I promise you, it is a gift that will pay off.
It's amazing that people, they are so addicted. Like I watch people flip over in Instagram. Mm-hmm. They're looking at the same shit they looked at 5 minutes ago.
Dude.
It's like, no, like
I know.
I sit there and
It's a habit. It's a reinforced habit.
It is.
It's a dopamine hit.
It's a bam bam.
I have found myself,
and I was doing that.
I have found myself at times sitting on the couch scrolling compulsively.
Yeah.
Like I can't,
I
can't put the phone down.
John.
Yeah, like I can't. I'm screen time too.
I screen time myself.
Like, I can't put the phone down.
How much I was doing it.
And now,
I turned that into I got on. Twitter's an amazing thing if you use it right. Like there is a real estate Twitter forum group, and I'm telling you, this thing. You learn more in a weekend with this group than you would in an MBA class for real estate. Like there's certain ones like that. I'm on my phone like reading stuff, but yeah, you get on. I like a year ago, I'm like, the hell do I keep looking at this? The same damn picture.
But if you're looking up real estate and how to improve in your profession and all that stuff, that to me, I think it's obnoxious where we give virtue to paper books, right? We think that it's okay to sit down and play. My son plays 3 hours of chess tonight. Whoa,
no, that's excessive doing that.
Your son is a savant.
Yeah.
But my kid plays 3 hours of Minecraft tonight or whatever. Your kid's an asshole. Your kid's a lazy sack of shit. The kid playing chess, they're still playing games.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't buy into the whole knowledge needs to be from a dusty tome.
Yeah.
Well, but
it can be your Twitter, and you can spend a significant time if you're learning and improving yourself.
Yeah, but I'll say this though too. Even we had the issue with my son last week. We got in trouble, so he lost his electronics. And dude, he is such a better dude when he's not plugged in, man. He's just a better human being.
Right.
He's,
my oldest son was
I like
that
him.
way.
I like being around him more.
Motivated.
He's more engaged. He's more motivated. I mean, like things that I haven't seen get like musical instruments got busted out this week, and I was like, oh yeah, right on, great. Just something. It's amazing because they get so addicted to it. It's terrible. So limit your kids, but having those things that are good. But again, setting some sort of consequence on yourself if you don't perform whatever your new task is good. Now, let's get more into the process, and I like this too, which is one of the problems with Western society is we are so caught up in instant gratification. Everything is instant. If you are a heavy person, you didn't get fat one day.
Yeah.
No.
I did not like to I have a countdown on my phone right now because we're going to Cabo for my birthday, and I have a countdown on my phone. I know exactly how many days to relieve to defat myself with my weigh-in on it and how many days. And every time I go to eat or look at any food, I look at that countdown. I'm like, bro, I got 51 days to make weight. I got problems. I got to do this. Right. But it didn't take me one day to get like this.
Right.
Like this was a steady, your bad habits add up. And I think a good way to look at it, what people understand is we're so caught up in instant gratification. You have to understand that you didn't get in the predicament you're in overnight.
Right.
Yeah. You're not going to get out of it necessarily overnight. And little changes either way will guide you to where it is.
Right.
And how you determine the quality of a habit. And I thought this was really interesting as you're analyzing the things that you do as you go along. How you analyze the quality of a habit is if it has short-term, quick, good,
right.
but long-term bad, it's a bad habit. Most good habits have short-term challenges, but long-term benefits.
Yeah.
Long-term benefits. You're not going to get in shape unless you go to the gym every day. That might be a sacrifice you have to make. You can't eat ho-hos and whatever else it is. But man, if you sit around and eat cupcakes, man, that instant good, well, that was great.
You know what's so funny? You talk about building up on habits. You're 100% right. I prefer actually eating good food. So my wife's an angel. She'll prepare good food every night. So we have a lean protein, asparagus, all this stuff. I feel a lot better, and I start to like that food more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The more you expose yourself to good food, you're going to crave good food.
Yeah.
Yep.
The more you go to the gym, like I was in jiu-jitsu this morning, and I was sitting there thinking, sometimes I get up and I don't want to go do it. And I'm sitting here thinking about the privilege that I have.
I get to
be able to go roll around at jiu-jitsu. Had a great class. Learned a couple techniques I've never really used before. I just felt so good about it. Like, why? This isn't a sacrifice.
No. Well, the thing is,
absolute privilege.
but it's how you talk to yourself.
Right.
I mean, again, that's why I love a really quick change you can make in your life. If you want to make a huge impact in your life, is change the word have to get to.
Yeah.
Oh man, instead I have to make all these calls. I have to go prospect. It's like, dude, I get to. I'm not going to Walmart to stand there and ring people out, ka-ching, 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 while I'm soullessly losing my life for $14 an hour. You get to do those things. You get the opportunity to do those. You get to go to the gym where there are people with screwed up discs or backs or can't do that would give anything.
Right.
That was always one of the problems that I had. When my mother-in-law was living with us, man, when my wife's and my mother-in-law, God bless her, but she just does nothing, man. She just wants to sit there and watch television. And when my dad was going through his final days and he was laying in those bed and he couldn't get up, he would have given anything just to be able to get up and just go outside.
100%.
You know what I mean? And then I had to sit there and watch her sit in a room and watch murder shows and waste her life. And I was like, bro, it made me resent her so much because of that. So the things that you may be looking at is you have to go do, you get to go do.
Yeah.
Other than leg day.
Other than leg day. I'm not going to preach about leg day.
Wednesdays are Wednesdays.
You got to look at your business same way as you're looking at your weight loss, right? Like you start cold calling. I had somebody go, I cold called the whole week, nothing. Okay, well,
for a whole week?
Yeah, I'm sitting there
52 of them in a year.
Yeah, I'm sitting there and if you went and worked out for a week, you would see zero.
Nothing. You'd gain weight,
zero,
which I have this week as I've started.
Nice. But no, you and that's it. So business and weight loss, like it'll take 3 to 4 months before you start seeing results of stuff. It might take 3 years of. I mean, you look at the Gortons, right? Like that took 5-6 years, to break into that.
Well, not only that, but when people start in real estate, when they first get in, I always tell people the same thing, which is like, look, real estate is like a 10-speed in between gears.
Right.
Like if you get on and we give people a solid plan, a process. And really what this book is about Atomic Habits at its core is falling in love with the process and not the goal.
Right.
Like if you love the process, if you enjoy the process, you have the right to be happy right now.
The obstacle is the way.
Yeah, the obstacle is the way. You don't have to wait till your goal comes to conclusion to be happy. You can be happy right now if you fall in love with the process. And when people come to work for us with our team, we give them a great process to follow. We give them a great system to follow. We give them everything they need to be successful, and all they have to do is pedal. Mm-hmm. And as long as you pedal that 10 speed, as long as you just pedal it every single day, on day like 90, now I've had people come and pop $1 million deals the first week, but that's not the norm. Right. But what I tell people is on about day 90, the gears are going to click.
Right.
And if you just keep working consistently and keep pedaling, that bike will take you as far and as fast as you want to go.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
but you got to continue pedaling.
It is hard. That's why people shake out. If everybody was ultra motivated, it would be a lot more difficult to compete in a landscape. Like, let's be honest, if everybody did what you told them to do, and they followed with it, and they followed the program, every single agent, there's 14,000 agents.
20,000.
20,000 agents in Nevada. What if every single one of them
were good and
grinded it out, followed the process, crushed it? There would be 5,000 agents.
Well, let's do the math. Half of them don't sell one house a year. So that's 10,000.
It's 10,000.
That. Of the 10,000, 3,000 are on the way out.
Yeah.
So that's 7,000. Of the 7,000, probably 4,000 to 5,000 of those do maybe one. Mm-hmm. So now we're down to 2,000. Of the 2,000, I'm going to call it, we'll call it 1,000 of them do a living, a good living. And then the top 1,000, that's it.
Crush it, yeah.
And then maybe you got 200 that are crushing.
So you got 5%. So you got
maybe
1%.
You got 4. That's not true. Maybe you got probably got 1,000 that are really killing it.
So between 2 and 5% of agents,
nothing.
What would happen though if every single agent was just
you know the process? No, you know what happened? People would stop. Cancel culture would be over because instead of trying to tear other people's buildings down, everybody would be building the tallest one. Yeah. That's what would happen.
Yeah.
So those two things honestly go hand in hand, which is 100% why.
That's just like the horse race, right? That's why you put blinders on a horse so they just focus on running. What's around them.
It's just one of those things where I don't know if anybody is really. Were we given the tools? Like who gives you the tools? It comes from your parents. Like how do you know? So here's the thing.
Your genes.
This is what I struggle with all the time. A lot of times people say, "Oh, these people pulled themselves up by your bootstraps," right?
Nah,
there are a lot of people that don't even know how to look for bootstraps to pull themselves up. I think there's a lot of people that would, if given good direction or opportunity, right? There's a mentor, somebody in their life that helps them see the way, right? There are prisons full of people that didn't have appropriate mentorship, that didn't have people that really cared about them, or somebody that was at home teaching them these lessons, right? This is where your kids are advantaged. This is where your kids are advantaged.
Well, I think that, and I think also, I think that's probably true. I think that, when I was in the restaurant business forever, it was one of my buddies that was always like, bro, what are you doing? You're doing okay, but you're murdering yourself over this. What are you doing?
Right.
And that's what kind of got me out of that. And I think, again, changing your environment, man, who you're around, I think is such a huge thing, which is why, like you look at Simply Vegas, like why do we guard who gets to work here so carefully? Like why do we not just let everybody with a real estate license and a pulse
preserve the brand?
Because for this reason, dude.
Bring you down.
No, my whole tribe, like my whole life, was hospitality. It's what I did. Running bars, owning bars. It's what we always did. And so you're surrounded by a bunch of bar people. And there's nothing wrong with bar people. God bless you, if you're a bartender. Love you, love each one of you. You're all so much fun. But it wasn't really until I'd gotten out of that, and then even starting my own companies that we did, and then I got on The Apprentice, and then I got around all those people. And you're living around 18 super high functioning, high driven Type A personalities. Well, it dwindled as we were there. How many people were there? But still, the idea is the same. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait a second, have I not been striving for what I've been striving? Yeah. So I think a lot of it, honestly, is not internal. I don't think it's internal with people. I think it's internally it's who you're around.
Yeah, I 100%. I think it's 50-50.
I would say who you are around
80-20
is more important than what's inside of you, because I think inside of you, if you go to the gym and you're the fat guy and everybody's super fit, you suck your stomach in. Whether you plan on doing 1,000 squats or not, you suck your stomach in because you don't want to be that guy. Right. Plenty of rooms I walk into and I'm like, okay, there we go. There it is. Yep. Good. You do that. And I think if you're around a bunch of people that are succeeding, I think you'll be surprised at what you're finding yourself.
It's true. But like I said, I'm a nature nurture hybrid kind of guy. I do believe that people are kind of the way they are. You have a personality type, right? Yep. That won't be
so you would have bet against Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. You would have bet against him? I would have fully won that bet.
So you know Thomas Hobbes, he had that old saying, I think it was Thomas Hobbes.
Yeah.
Please somebody fact check me. Give that poor man a 10 pence and a top hat and you'll see a completely different animal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Give somebody, an opportunity to be in this world. That's why everybody strives for that world. They know that I think at the end of the day, if you're around it, it's going to have a multiplier effect. Mm-hmm. So people crave it so much. That's why we have a Tinder swindler out there who can make people feel like they're going to get to enter this world, right?
Yeah.
I need to watch that. I turned it on, fell asleep. But no, I agree. Maybe it's not 50-50, but you need to have mentors. And if you are somebody if you're young and you have family members that maybe are, government workers or work for this system and you don't want that, you can't find that within your family. So go find a mentor that's in that to drive you towards that and show you the way. But I agree. When you're around people with money, you're like, God, I need to make more money. Well, dude, when you're out of shape, same thing.
That's why I love the real estate business. Give me you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry. Give me whatever you got. Yep. Give me any education level. Give me what it is. If you've got a certain amount of panache to you, you got a certain amount of personality, you get with the right people, you can make it in this business.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can absolutely, there is the barrier to entry is as much as you. You are your own barrier.
You don't have to be fit. You don't have to, you have to have a personality.
Yeah, that's it. You just got to have something about you that shines a little bit and the willingness to earn. And I've seen people, man, I've seen this business change the lives of so many people, which is why, honestly, I love it so much. Right. It's, people ask, why do you still have a team? Why do you do that? Because at this point, with all of the other crap we have, I could have gotten rid of my team years ago, but I love it because that's the closest that I am on a day-to-day basis of developing others and changing lives. Right. And that's what I love. And that's why I keep that. So, but let's talk about new habits. So how you talk about a new habit, even in themselves, affects its implementation. Again, we just talked about I have to versus I get to. I get to do this. If you thought a new habit, like, for example, if you're like, I want to get more sleep. The idea.
Get an Oura ring.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're like, my goal is to get more sleep. The idea of that turning into reality is very slim and none because there's no real process in that statement. Now, if you say, my goal is to get another hour of sleep a night, so I'm going to start winding down every day by 9:30. Yeah. That's going to give you a high probability of actually turning that into something.
Right.
Of actually turning into success. And you've got to create a relationship with your good habits, and you've got to create a bad relationship with your bad habits. Mm-hmm. You've got to be very real and understanding that as good as frozen Nutter Butters are, and really should have been my number one cookie last week, because if you've ever had a Nutter Butter, you put one in the freezer, it's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Still overrated.
And we're going to talk about the worst part of this was creating a good environment in a minute, which my wife is against me daily when it's come to make weight, as there's 2 things of frozen Nutter Butters in my freezer right now. But no, as good as that is, I got to understand where that's going. I mean, being out of shape leads to those times we've all had in the closet when you're standing there and like all of your clothes are on the ground in the closet because nothing looks right on you. And you're like, my clothes are all terrible. No, dude, you're fat. That's why everything looks bad on you.
Stupid
That's
clothes.
why. Exactly. And we've all done. I don't know anybody that probably hasn't done that. Where you walk in and just like, nothing is right today. Nothing looks good. Nothing is going to work. And all of that leads to those moments. So you got to start attaching like my Nutter Butter habit with that. Like, I don't want to go in the closet and not have anything to wear. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to see the pictures from my 50th birthday when I'm shelling out, the GDP of a small third world country for this event and then look at the pictures like I don't want to see these pictures because I look like I'm fat in all these photos. I don't want to do that. Right. To me, it's more important. Like, we're not going to Mardi Gras this year because of how dangerous this is in New Orleans, and I'm super disappointed about that. But on the flip side of that, I'm thinking I'm also not going to do a 4-day Cajun food bender, which I would have. I have never come back from that trip less than 10 pounds up, ever, because it's just not possible to do so. So in my opinion, that's kind of like something I'm really upset about, not getting to go to Mardi Gras. I'm like, it's okay because I won't do that. It'll keep me on my track to get to my big goal, which is to look as good as I can on my actual 50th birthday, which is coming up in April.
Speedos, right?
We're
wearing Speedos for your 50th?
To your other point, though, too, what helps in all that process is having your tribe help you out, being accountable by making open public statements about it.
Yeah.
Right. If you put it out there, that's going to reinforce that whole process too.
But at the same time, though, you don't be one of those people that talks about it. Be about it. I mean, I hate those. I hate those. There's nothing worse than people that always talk about what they're gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Don't be that person. If you have ever told somebody you were gonna do something and then you didn't do it, just stop telling them stuff. Just start doing stuff.
Yeah.
Don't be that
person.
person.
Don't ever tell them again. No, but what I'm saying is, once you do put it out there, though, like if a couple starts talking around other couples about them getting a divorce, their likelihood of divorce is very high. Right? Like if you...
because it's out there now.
Because it's out there. So when it's out there, all of a sudden, if you do care about what people think about you and you say, I'm going to do 75 hard. John, Colt, and I, we're going to do 75 hard. We put it out there and you publish it on your Facebook. Everybody goes and puts it on their Facebook. You are probably at a greater likelihood of high motivated people to actually follow through. If the shame, the feeling of not doing it is now you have to face public reprimand and consequences for not doing what you said you were going to do.
Nothing worse than.
But sometimes you got to let your tribe know what your goals are, right? Like my wife, I'm like, I need to lose weight, so please don't buy that crap. Yeah. And she will, and she'll help me.
Does she listen to you?
No.
No. I'm just saying, my wife's like, you need to have some moniker of self-control. Why should it affect what everybody else? Like, fatty?
But my wife, I'm the only one that like eats Oreos. Giovanni.
Yeah. My wife will at least like. So we've cut out because, like I said, January is where you start to cut.
Yeah,
you bulk all year, December, then, and I mean like intentionally.
I bulk.
Is
this year round? Are we supposed to only do that for?
No, but you're supposed
to stop after that. That's where
you bulk till the end of the year.
There you go.
But then January you cut, so we started cutting out a breakfast. So she'll make shakes in the morning of Greek yogurt, spinach, chia stuff. It tastes good.
Yeah, sure, of course.
It all tastes very good. So she's willing to do that. So I have a very helpful partner.
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, you feel so much better when you eat better. You don't realize how crappy food. Like it gives you the instant. Like you eat that Wendy's burger and the fry, and you're like, oh, it's so good. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, I'm exhausted. I don't know why. This is so strange.
I have a cavity.
I have a cavity. Yeah, this is so weird. But when you eat good, maybe it's not as instantly rewarding is what you're eating.
Bad.
But during the day, you feel energized, you feel good, you feel great, and it goes on as it is. A new habit is more likely to become ingrained if it's easy. You got to make it easy for yourself. I mean, I try to remove, when I'm trying to develop a new habit on something, I try to remove anything that's going to come in the way of that. Right. For me, like example, it is very important that I have a gym in my house if I'm going to work out. Because for me, I don't mind working out. I like working out, but just it's the process of getting to the gym and doing that, and life gets in the way. Like now, I get up, I come downstairs, I go to the gym. Nothing can get in the way of that. There's no side turn. There's no this. And other people are like, well, you could do that anyway. No. My phone was ringing this morning at 6:15 with a $400,000 problem I had to solve this morning. thank God I got it solved and it was okay. But at the same time, and like I don't get there's no quiet time.
Yeah.
For
so
me.
you don't find that having like a gym membership. See, for me,
Not for me.
I have
Not
a
for me.
trainer on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's the accountability.
Well,
of a
see,
trainer.
okay, that's better. That's a different thing for you. See, you have to hire, like for you, that's your thing. That's what makes it easy.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I have to go
I've already
because
checked it off the
I
box
have to go because I'm paying this guy to be there.
And he's there.
100%. He's there waiting for me. I have to go. That's what makes it easy for you. So easy can be about convenience, like it is for me going downstairs, or it can be about another level of commitment that you can't get out of. Right. Necessity, which is what you've done. But make your habits somewhat easy. Yeah. I mean, look, if you want to eat better, buy better food.
Yeah.
Have a plan, have a system. Don't wake up with no food in your house and think, I'm gonna eat better today. And you know,
sit there and see leftover pizza and like,
Kentucky Fried Chicken is the closest place to your house. You know the probability of going there. So you've got to make it easy for yourself to achieve all those things and get that better food in front of you.
A habit takes 23 days of consistently doing it before it
starts.
starts.
What is that?
What it would be?
Covey, right? Covey?
Covey says that I think it's like 27 days of consistency to build a new habit, I think is what it is. But yeah, again, I think it's just about.
Do you think it's less than that?
No, I don't know, because again, I think it's about. I think if you look at it in the terms of trying to develop a habit that you don't like that just becomes ingrained in you, that's fine. But I think if you develop a process and fall in love with the process, I think you can do it much faster. I think if the why that you're doing it makes sense.
But what happens to addicts?
Yeah.
Addicts, they do this thing. They're in a different environment, right?
Yeah.
So they got 3 months at Betty Ford, and they come out. They're healthy. Their skin went from green to back to bright
like that.
And they're exercising, and they were reading books, and because they're in
a bubble
control.
They get home,
start
going on the same shippers that they were at, and then
it falls apart
because those things. So you have to permanently do a hard delete.
Well,
sometimes.
That can be simplistic as like, we're not all on the same level of certain things, and you might have a buddy that's got a shitload of money that wants to go have 2-hour lunches every day or something like that. You have to remove people like that so you don't get away from your habits. I mean, you cannot have people that are in different. You just got to be careful, right? Like just like an addict, you can't go out with the same people if they're not, having the same goal as you. Sometimes,
I mean that's probably the most important part of this. It says environments can be designed to better support good habits. Mm-hmm. So you've got to design an environment to foster that. Right. I mean, you got to set yourself up. You got to set yourself up for success. And again, like you said, coming out of rehab and going back down to the corner and expect to hang out with your friends again is nuts. I don't understand. It's always so odd to me. My wife said this the other day. We were watching, I don't know, whatever she was watching, Vanderpump Rules or something, what it is. And, one of the people had quit drinking and was hanging out dating somebody that still drinks. And she's like, I just don't understand how that works.
It doesn't.
I don't think it does.
Like how difficult is that? Where this, like, if this person had a problem with alcohol, and then there were this person is, hammer time.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't that become? It's either got to become incredibly tedious for the person with the issue, or
you have a designated driver and it's the bomb.
Or you can. That's okay. There you go, Chris. It's not a have to; it's a get to. There you go. It's a positive in light. And I'm not. If you're listening to this and you're somebody that is sober, God bless you. And I'm not saying. Whatever, man. I think that's awesome. It just seems to me that, again, being in a good environment, in being in an environment that is pushing you towards your goals or supporting your goals or not tempting you to go back over is so important. I mean, maybe I guess you know what it is. I digress. I'm going to digress. See, look at this. Look how quickly I educate myself quickly because I'm going back to smoking. Because because I can light a cigarette next to me, I could care less. I don't even think about it. So my guess would be at a certain point, if you don't drink anymore, you haven't drank in years, you don't even think about it.
I spent a majority of my life not drinking. I
got a belief. Yeah, see, look at that.
16?
I educated myself in one fell swoop.
I was really in my 20s before
I was.
Because in Canada, you could drink early, and I was stubborn, and all that, and it just was like, I'm not doing that. Whatever.
They don't have quinceañeras in Canada.
What do they call them?
Get hammered.
No quinceañeras.
Like here's 15 maple syrup.
Yeah. 17, Go. Yeah.
Your environment's everything, and I know a lot of people that are sober, and they have to be with sober people to keep where it's at. But there is to a point, but everybody's different. Everybody has stronger mentality than others.
I want to ask you a question though. This is something that I've always thought was kind of really high level as a concept, right? Mm-hmm. So now again, I may be completely full of shit on this one. ultimate discipline is not quitting drinking. Ultimate discipline is to have a drink and go home.
I see. I think drinking is a bad example because I think certain people react chemically with alcohol in a way they shouldn't.
I'm not sure.
We all know people that have drank. We know people that are drinking right now that you're like, bro, that guy should not.
Well, you shouldn't drink. You shouldn't get drunk.
No, but I'm saying,
but one drink,
but they can't because it's a chemical reaction with the way their brain physiology works. I think
so. I'm not necessarily
pick a different habit because I think drinking is a tough.
The science on that, I'm actually not sure if it's Bob has a drink. Bob lacks the discipline.
No, I think alcohol triggers the chemicals in Bob's brain differently than it triggers in yours.
And of course, everything.
I think the dopamine receptors are a little different in Bob.
I think that's something that is very repeated in AA and alcoholics or whatever. No, I have a disease, right? You hear that all the time. Again, I've heard other people and chemical experts and doctors of addiction. If you look at Carl Hart, if you look at all these things, a lot of that is unaddressed trauma. A lot of it is things that are outside of, I don't know that drinking a beer, right, ever makes anybody so chemically fucked up, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
But it makes their mentality of what that back in their mind.
Let me ask you this. Are there people that you know that are the general size and general weight that you are,
right,
that off of the same amount of alcohol that would make you just have ho-hum, I'm fine, and they're want to wrestle drunk? There's something different. Oh God, I hate the one restaurant. But there's something different in that.
I think that people react differently. But what I'm saying is this: there's nobody who's drunk after a beer, right? So to me, I think that this is a great way to be. If you're an alcoholic and it causes you problems in your life, right? Don't drink, right?
Yeah.
The ultimate discipline, though, of human mastery, right? If you get to that mental space where you truly master who you are and have the discipline or whatever, wouldn't it be something where you go, yeah, I have a beer socially every now and then because I can say no to the second cookie. I can say no.
But a lot of people can't.
A lot of people can't.
Can't they?
When it comes to food, I tell you, I struggle.
So do I, man. Stress eater.
I am
stress eater. I'm a stress eater.
Like I have a piece of pizza. I'm like, I eat healthy a lot of times, but then like this weekend, ate a pizza. Dude, I probably ate a 16-inch pizza by myself. And then the next day I'm like, why did I do that? I want to throw up. And then I saw leftovers. What did I have for lunch? Like it goes down to it.
Well, for example, this morning, 6:15, whatever it was, when I got the message that we may have a $400,000 problem that we don't. What do you think the first thing I did was?
Eat
nutter butter.
Open the fridge. I didn't eat anything because I caught myself. But the very first thing I did when I hung up that phone was open the fridge.
But again,
and I was like,
but do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying though about
not everybody's disciplined?
Ultimately disciplined.
Yeah.
Because you can have a glass of wine.
But I caught myself opening the fridge because I'm currently in the mode where I'm trying to get somewhere. If it wasn't for this and I was just like what I've been doing for 6 months, I would have grabbed something out of the fridge and just grab a string cheese and just eat whatever, dude, because that's just what I was doing. Now I'm catching myself because I have a goal attached that is creating discipline. Right. But my standard just operating procedure was just stress, eat, stress, eat, stress, eat.
Yeah, the wife and I like to have a glass of wine at night, but so we're trying to cut that out, right? So Monday to Thursday, you're not drinking.
Yeah, just straight whiskey.
It's harder for me to have a glass of wine than it is to not drink when I want to drink. It's easier to not drink at all.
Oh, I agree with that.
Easier.
I agree with that totally.
Than it is to have a glass of wine and not have a second.
No, I have to go to dinner tonight at Hank's. I'm drinking water. I already said. I'm not even going to, because I don't want one. I'm just, because I got a lot to do tomorrow.
Because you've made a decision.
Yeah.
The problem is when you open a door. Right. The problem with discipline is the door that gets opened.
Yeah.
Right. If you're stuck on a thing where I go to the gym at 7, every day at 7, all of a sudden something happens where it's 8:30. Well, now the door is open. You've passed 7.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part of being disciplined is to go, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater here.
Right.
Yeah. It deviated from my hard line plan. But I'm so disciplined that I'm going to bring it back in, on this next round or whatever.
And go from
there.
And
I think discipline's everything. And I think that we're all pretty disciplined people, but we all know a lot of people that are not disciplined.
Amen.
Like I could rattle out probably 75% of the people I know are not that.
I know, Colt. I've seen you with your Amex around Japanese vending machines.
Oh, Jesus. Not good. All right. Well,
what you can buy in there is amazing.
And with that, we've come to another end of another fabulous episode. No, guys. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching somewhere else, give us a review wherever you are. And as always, man, tune in next week because remember, what was I going to say? After that, my brain is scrambled. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell two, because it doesn't matter if they're talking good or bad about you. What's it matter, Colt?
As long as they're talking about you.
As long as they're talking about
you. Peacock guys.
See you next time, guys. Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at @thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.